What's up, besties? Good to see ya. This week, we're gonna cover some key job hunting and interview tips that my mentor taught me and some that I picked up along the way as I transitioned from Wall Street finance to media strategy to being a full-time creator. Like I mentioned, I have a really awesome mentor, and she was my first ever boss and the older sister that I've always wanted. And one of the most impactful things she ever said to me was that your job does not give a shit about you. She told this to me when for the first time I admitted to her that I was interviewing for other jobs. And I thought she'd be mad or even just sad and disappointed, but she was happy for me. And I didn't really get it, but she explained. A lot of us make big sacrifices. We cut into our personal lives and we forego other opportunities because we feel a sense of loyalty to our companies or wherever we may work. Maybe you have a great boss or you love your team, but while your coworkers may care about you and your boss, if you have a good relationship, may care about you, the corporation does not care about you. These secrets are gonna help you snag your next big gig, so please like, comment, and subscribe to learn more about being good with your money. Let's get to it. Tip 1, if you can help it, don't cold apply for a job. Always seek a referral from someone at the company before you submit an application. And I know what you're thinking, but Vivian, I don't know anybody who works there. You don't need to. When you're applying for a job, before you hit submit, go to LinkedIn and toggle the search to the company where you want to work. See people who work there, and there you'll see your connections, people from your school, people in your area that may work at the company you want to work at. You can also see if you have any second or third degree connections as well. I'd recommend then DMing a few to see if they'd be willing to refer you. And once again, you're probably thinking, why would anyone do that for me? They aren't my friend. Because they want to get paid, duh. At most companies, when an employee refers a potential new hire, they get a bonus. And that dollar value can range anywhere between a few $100 to a few $1,000. And if you don't get the job, there's really no consequences for the person who referred you. This is actually so common that the app Fishbowl has full topics that are just people referring each other for jobs. Tip number 2, when the interviewer asks at the end of the interview, do you have any questions for me? Make sure to say yes. If you say no, it'll give off the impression that you're not curious about the company and you don't really want to work there. Here are 3 of my favorites to ask. 1, who was the most recently promoted member on your team? How long had they been in their seat and what qualifications made them stand out? This will help give you a picture of what this manager values and how quickly you can expect to rise at the company. 2, what infrastructure is in place to support someone in this role? What resources will be available to this person? This will tell you if you'll be given the tools you need to succeed and if you'll have those resources readily available. And 3, this sounds like a really great role. That said, I'd love to know why the last person in this seat left. The reason someone left will help you check for any red flags. Was it a lack of support, a toxic work environment, and bad pay? Or were they just promoted and moved laterally at the company? Huge difference. In fairness, the hiring manager may try and dance around this one, but even that should give you an indication on how the previous person felt. Tip number 3, don't be afraid to set salary expectations. Most people freak out when they're asked how much they're hoping to make, but here's how you're going to answer depending on where you're at in the interview process. If you're only at the beginning of the interview process and don't have a full appreciation for what the job will entail, say something like, I'd like to learn more about the position and the duties and what the team's like, as that will determine my salary expectations. May I ask what salary range you're considering for this position? This gives you the upper hand and helps you assess their budget. On the other hand, if you're quite far down the interview process and know an adequate amount about the role, asking for their budget can feel a little JV and like you don't know what you want. Instead, I'd recommend doing your research in advance about what the market rate for this seat would be and giving a range, slightly skewed to the high end. And you can say something like, my salary expectations would range between A and B, dependent on title and other potential compensations such as equity and a signing bonus. And a super easy tip number 4, make sure to get the emails of the folks interviewing you so that you can send a personalized thank you note within 24 hours of any interview. My favorite format to use is quick and simple. Hi, name. Thank you so much again for taking the time to discuss the insert title here, role, and your experience working at the company. It was so interesting to hear about insert something you talked about and insert something else, ideally a small joke or less formal piece of information that they shared with you. Please don't hesitate to reach out if there's anything else that I can provide to solidify myself as a strong candidate. I hope to speak more in the future. Best, and then put your name. Here's an example of what that may actually look like in real life. Hi Dan, thank you so much again for taking the time to discuss the software engineering role and your experience working at Twitter. It was so interesting to hear about the new features your team is developing, and fingers crossed your team's intern presentations go well this Friday. Please don't hesitate to reach out if there's anything else that I can provide to solidify myself as a strong candidate. I hope to speak more in the future. Best, Vivian. Whew. Interviewing can be tricky, and oftentimes it does feel like a little bit of a crapshoot, but I hope this information helps you in your interviewing process. Try these tips out, let me know what you think, and make sure to like, subscribe, and follow for more money, career, and investing tips. See you guys later.